Welcome to Rocky's Ramblings, the show that encourages you to get out and do your own rambling. Get out and explore the many places to go, things to see, and events to attend, many of them right in your backyard. This week's episode is a look at many opportunities within the Dan River Basin of Virginia and North Carolina. Outdoor recreation opportunities, environmental education opportunities, as well as opportunities to get involved through the activities of a very active organization in this area, the Dan River Basin Association. So go with me to the banks of the Smith River in Bassett, Virginia.
I am down on the Smith River with Mr. Smith River. This is Brian Williams with the Dan River Basin Association, and he's known throughout the community as the keeper of the river, the one that knows what's going on. And Brian, thank you for being on the show. I appreciate your allowing me to use your landing here as our studio.
Appreciate being here. Appreciate the fact that you're down here on this beautiful day on the beautiful river.
This is a beautiful spot. We've done a lot of kayaking together on this river, and now in the spirit of full disclosure, I am a member of the Dan River Basin Association.
Thank you.
But I am a member because I appreciate what the organization does, and that's what we're here to talk about. And Brian, I know I've talked to you many times about your stance on environmental issues and recreation and how the two have to go together. And so what I want to do is I want to talk about what is there in the Dan River Basin Association that is for the community to take advantage of, to really enjoy, so that they can build some appreciation for it.
Well, our mission started with people that love the river and love this area and saw the natural beauty of the area. So our mission statement really is preserving and promoting the natural and cultural resources of the Dan River Basin.
Sure.
It's a huge basin, 3,300 square miles. We've got beautiful rivers that run through it, and it's been neglected somewhat. So we're in a section of Virginia that is economically unstable, and historically we had furniture factories, we had textile industries, and so we've got some downtrodden issues here.
Right.
But we also have incredible natural resources. So with the Dan River Basin Association, the group that formed back in 2002 said, hey, we've got a great area, and it's an undiscovered area.
Absolutely.
How can we get people to use it? So that's predominantly how we started, and said, well, we've got to get people out there somehow.
Got to get people out there. Okay, so now I know that the Dan River Basin Association has a number of programs to do so. The one that I'd like to start with is the first Saturday outing. Now that's the first Saturday of every month. DRBA is doing that's Dan River Basin Association, and the acronym is DRBA. And DRBA does something to get people in recreating in the environment the first Saturday of every month. Can you just kind of list some of them that maybe coming up, maybe ones that have been a lot of fun?
Yeah, well, this whole getting outside started with what we call the first Saturday outing. We said we've got to get people out and show them this stuff. That's the first thing we got to do. The only way they're going to appreciate it is to get out there. And a lot of times people don't want to go by themselves, and we understand that. So they want to explore new areas.
Well, a lot of times people haven't done it before.
Exactly.
If you've never been in a kayak, I was out with him with an Upward Bound group today, and some of these kids, they've never been in a kayak before. That's intimidating to be out there without somebody that knows what they're doing. So this is a great thing to help people get involved for the first time, get out there and do some recreation.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the whole point. And so we came up with these first Saturday outings, and what we do is it's free and open to the public.
Yep.
We certainly would love for you to become a Dan River Basin Association member, but we're offering this, and volunteers and board members do this.
Sure.
And staff can join in if we want to. But basically, in the summertime, we're paddling. We're on the rivers, these beautiful rivers. We're out here like May through October, we're going to be on the river. When it gets a little cooler, we're going to be hiking on the trails.
Yeah.
So it's a chance for you to come out, get with other like-minded people, and see a part of the basin that you may have never seen before. And that may be paddling on a river. If you don't know how to paddle, you're going to be out there with people that know how to paddle and help you. We're going to go on easy trips. And then on the hiking trips too, they're moderate to strenuous hiking trips. We don't try to go over the top with that. It's something for everybody. These are family outings. You can bring your dog, you can bring your kids, and we go to different parts of the basin all the time. So we show you what we have to offer already here, and we're building on that. That's how we get people to come to enjoy and love the area, and it helps us establish those things where we can build the infrastructure to help more people enjoy it.
Exactly. We're in Bassett, Virginia, which is on the upper portions of the Smith River. There's another portion down below the Martinsville Dam, and we've paddled both of those sections. What other rivers do you paddle in this area?
Well, we've got 7 major rivers that go down into the Dan River. So we've got the North and South Mayo, we've got the Smith River, the Sandy, the Hyco, the Bannister, the Dan River, and all these rivers are in a watershed, the Dan River Basin watershed, which is part of the larger Roanoke River watershed. So all these rivers that I just mentioned are paddleable.
Sure.
Now, not in all places of the river are, but we have tons of places to paddle. All these rivers drain down, eventually running into the Dan River, which kind of sews North Carolina and Virginia together.
It eventually dumps into Bugs Island.
Down there in Lake Carr in Virginia, Bugs Island Lake, whatever you want to call it.
Officially, it's John H. Carr Dam on Bugs Island
There
Lake.
you go.
There you are.
So it depends on what state you live in. And then when it comes out of there in the Roanoke River, it eventually goes into Albemarle Sound in North Carolina and into the ocean. So we've got a wide variety of rivers from the Blue Ridge Mountains all the way through the Piedmont and down to the coast.
And getting people out to recreate on it, beautiful, clean water. We can help people to appreciate that, and then they start thinking about what they can do to help keep it clean.
That's
now,
right.
It's not just paddling though. I know that there are a lot of fly fishermen on the river, and I know you work with them as well.
Yeah, and I love fly fishing.
Oh, yeah.
It's my favorite thing to do when I'm not paddling. So it's all about, for us, it's all about education, recreation, and stewardship.
Right.
We want to educate you about what's in the river, the experiences, and keeping the river clean. And then we want to do that through recreation. We get you out there paddling, show you the river, show you how to take care of it, and then that leads to stewardship, which is going to protect these rivers for future generations, and it's going to protect them for us. And it's going to help us build the economy by getting more people out here on the river. When they come out and see this river, I mean, if you just drive across it and see it from a bridge, you may say that's beautiful. But when you get on this river, if I can get your feet wet and get you on this river, I know I got you. I know
Absolutely.
I've got a lifelong river protector.
Yep, there we are. Well, the group that we were with today, the Upward Bound group, these are kids that haven't been on the river. Brian, you were helping them, teaching them how to use the paddle. They were having a lot of fun. You were showing them the macroinvertebrates that live in the river and helping them to understand how important that is to the health of the river. And we talked a little bit about fishing. And so it starts with the recreation. It starts with getting out there.
Right.
And I've always appreciated your stance on that, because it's not protecting it from the people that makes it work. It's protecting it for the people and helping them to realize that. So we really appreciate that. Okay, so you do paddling in the summer, hiking in the winter months. What other kind of activities does Dan River Basin Association oversee?
Well, the main thing we focus on really is the environmental education, because we know if we can get to the kids, teach them not to litter, teach them about the river, that's going to help build for future generations. So you can talk to adults all day long, but sometimes it's easier dealing with the kids. So we have a lot of environmental education programs. Our standout program was Trout in the Classroom, which we've been doing for 10 years.
Now, Trout in the Classroom, it's a program where they put tanks in classrooms, and then they bring these tiny little fish fry. Now, my idea of a fish fry is a whole lot different than that. But
well, we start with eggs.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You actually start with eggs, and the kids actually get a chance to take care of them in the tanks, watch them grow, learn about them as they do, and then they get to come out and put them in the river. And that is, I've been involved in some of those, and watching the excitement on the kids' faces when they watch the fish that they've been taking care of swim off for themselves finally. That's what they've been looking forward to.
And that's huge,
Huge.
Environmental education, you can't just sit in a classroom all the time and go, this is a watershed, this is why you need to protect your water. But when they raise a living organism and then bring it out to the river and go, man, I hope my fish is going to live, I hope that river's not polluted, and the fish that I raise is going to live, that's huge.
Huge.
And we've seen that make such a difference in a lot of children's lives. We've been doing this so long now, I've got people, and we had people out there today on the Upward Bound experience that had gone through Trout in the Classroom program and oftentimes come back and work as interns in these different projects, and then come up and say, oh, I was in Trout in the Classroom, So they've learned something about the life cycle, they've learned something about their home river, and it's an incredible experience for them, because, it encompasses everything. in the classroom, it encompasses math, art, science,
All
literature,
kinds of things.
you name it.
Absolutely.
So that's been one of our key programs.
Yep.
We also do citizens water quality monitoring programs, and that's, once again, getting people out.
Getting people out, actually working with this stuff.
And you're a citizens water
I
quality
am
monitor.
a citizens
Thank you very
water
much.
scientist, and I love it. It's a wonderful thing to do. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue talking about the Citizens Scientist program, and we're going to talk about how the Trout in the Classroom program has morphed new programs.
I hope you're enjoying today's show, and I hope you appreciate what DRBA does within the Dan River Basin. We certainly do. As we go to a commercial break, I want you to see the type of education that DRBA does within the basin by sharing some footage of Brian working with a local group of Upward Bound students. So Brian, take us to the commercial break. We'll be right back after the break.
Mayflies, there's Helgramites, there's crane flies, all kinds of neat stuff in here. These guys are real important to a healthy ecosystem of the river. Now, a couple of things. These guys are kind of like butterflies and caterpillars. So this is a Helgramite when it's in the water, and then it becomes a Dobson fly. It'll actually split out of that shell, crawl out, split out of that shell, and become a terrestrial flying insect. So will the stone flies that are in here. They call them stone flies because they run around on the bottom of these stones. And so do these crane flies. The only thing that doesn't change in here are these crayfish, all right? They stay the same, but they're also a very important part. They don't bite, but they can pinch. So, all right, so let me just show you the basic paddles here, guys. I'm sitting upright, pushed all the way back against the seat. I've got a forward stroke here, and you notice this water's moving pretty fast, but I'm not flying down through there, right? Because these boats are riding on top of the water, so with just a couple of strokes, I can keep it up here. It's not going to suck me down. Now, a lot of you guys will get out here and get in this fast water and start going down there. If you do that, I don't want you to do that. I want you to paddle back over here fast, but I'm going to show you that.
Welcome back for the second segment of the show. And before the break, I promised that we were going to talk about how the Trout in the Classroom program morphed new programs. I know that you worked with the staff at Philpott Lake to establish the trees in the classroom on the same basis. Help the kids, give them sticks.
Yeah, we do willows, black
willows, which grow very easily. You just stick them in the ground and they grow roots, and it's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
And so once again, the kids get a chance to watch them grow, take care of them.
Right. And what they're learning is what we call stream-side trees, or the riparian buffers along the streams. And you can see behind us we have these beautiful trees, and they're incredibly important to the water quality.
Absolutely.
So you've got fish that they're raising, but the fish are not going to survive unless they've got these trees protecting the river. So it ties in really nicely.
Absolutely.
So we call that STIC, or stream-side trees in the classroom, and then Trout in the Classroom is TIC. So we have both of these programs that work really close together, and the kids love them, and then they can come out there and grow their black willow trees and plant them and know that they're going to help protect the soil and help protect against the erosion and pollution and to protect the river. So even if they're not growing trout, they're growing something that's also going to help the river. So it's been a great partnership, and the Rangers at Philpott started that. We have a great working partnership with the U.S. Corps of Engineers and Philpott Lake Rangers. So that's been a really nice thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, where do we want to go from here? We've talked about the recreation program. We've talked about the education. Let's talk about how we take that to the adults with some of the evening events, some of the special programs that you take adults on.
Well, we do. We have a College for Older Adults partnership with them. We partner with the local college here. But we also do programs like rain barrel workshops where people can learn to build rain barrels, and of course the Citizens Water Quality Science Monitoring. But the big key thing was we had the economy that was falling, and we said, how do we get people involved? And I can't get kids to, rebuild the economy. So we've got to
Right.
show people how that we can utilize a beautiful, clean river, walking trails, to benefit the economy.
Absolutely.
So that's been one of our big pushes around here, because we know that if you're going to protect it and want to protect it, you need a reason to. You know, if it's making you money, you're more likely to protect it. So
Well, you're protecting the environment, which grows the economy, which helps everybody. Dan River Basin Association's motto is improving the quality of life within the Dan River Basin. And the thing that I've always appreciated about the group is that quality of life means good paying jobs, means a healthy environment, economic environment, a healthy environment, healthy
Right.
water, healthy air. And it's good for the humans, it's good for the plants, it's good for the animals, it's good for everybody. I love that motto, and I would like to see more organizations take that same tack that we're worried about, or we're concerned with, improving the quality of life within our area of concern.
that's exactly the whole point. It's a quality of life issue, because you just can't go out and say, protect this stream, and people not understand why they need to protect this stream. They need to understand that it's their drinking water, and it's for them. It's for future generations. It's for their kids. It's not just because somebody wants to paddle or somebody wants to fish. It's important to your quality of life. And even
Absolutely.
trails, getting out there and walking and hiking. We've
Good
seen
for your health.
That's right. We've seen people get out there and start walking on these trails, and we have doctors that prescribe that and
Yeah.
say, you need to go out to the Dick and Willie Passage and walk. That's
There
what
you
you
go.
need to do. So we
So
didn't
there's your prescription. Get down to the Dick and Willie Trail and go walking.
bike if you want to, just at least get out and walk. And
Absolutely.
if you're going to walk somewhere, would you rather walk in a big smog-filled city, or would you rather walk out in nature? Most people would rather walk out in nature.
For
Now,
sure.
it doesn't mean you have to walk out in the middle of the woods on a little bitty path. We've got all kinds of paths. That's one of the things we did. We built, wide paved paths, and then we have little narrow trails for people that like to hike in the woods. So the key is getting them out there,
Get 'em out there.
and it gives you a different recreational opportunity besides what you may normally be used to, and it's also a tourism draw.
Absolutely.
This is not Myrtle Beach, and we're fine with that.
Exactly.
We've got a beautiful river, we've got clean water. We want people to come in and enjoy it and bring their money to this county and leave it here.
All right, we're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to talk about how this all gets paid for, and how the economy through tourism and such things helps the local economy. All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back for the third segment of our show. I'm still with Brian Williams of the Dan River Basin Association, lovingly known as DRBA, and we're going to talk now about the funding, the economic side of helping. It's not cheap to do some of the things that the Dan River Basin Association does, and so you have memberships. How do you go about getting the funding? What's important? How do you get everything together to make this all happen?
Well, I'll tell you, we are a member-based organization, so funding comes from members, but a lot of our funding also comes from foundations, and we're constantly seeking grants. Now, we use state, local, and federal grants and foundation support. The Harvest Foundation here in Martinsville has been a huge supporter.
Harvest
of Dan River
Foundation
Basin.
has been a godsend to this whole community, and we don't really have time to go into that. But on my website, rockysramblings.com, I will have links to the Harvest Foundation, to the Dan River Basin Association, to some of the funding mechanisms and whatnot. And so when you go to the website, look down below the video and you'll see a lot of things that will help you get involved, help you make that difference that we're hoping that you'll want to make.
Yeah, it's, if you had a great big pot of money all the time, it would be great, but unfortunately, much of our work is out there fighting and looking and researching and trying to get these grants.
Right.
We have other local foundations, the Danville Regional Foundation and Reidsville Area Foundation, and these guys have also helped us, and they saw the same thing that we did. They had the vision and saw, look, this is how we can help the community. This is how we can help the economy, because that's what they're about. It's like, we can just pay for people or have a welfare state, but no, if we build some structure and build some infrastructure, and build a community based around a different economic model, that's going to last well into the future. So fortunately, there was board members on there that really had the vision and really supported what we were doing, and so that's a big part of how we were able to get done. Another big part is partnerships. You know, we partner with Henry County. Henry County provides us office space. Down in Danville, we have an office space down there. We have municipal partnerships with communities. We also work with state and federal government. Also, they have grants for clean water. We get those for their clean water fund, and so we try to pull from a lot of different resources.
A lot of private companies have small pots of money that they can put into that. So
I mean, everybody from LL Bean to REI, they all have small little grants that we can help enhance different parts of this.
Yeah, we were talking today about grants to put life jackets at some of our landings, so that if you don't have a life jacket, you come to one of our landings, you can take one with you, hopefully put it back at where you take out.
Yeah.
But those kinds of opportunities are out there.
Yeah, and it's difficult, you know, sometimes because you want to be working, you want to do something for people, you want to be out there teaching kids like we were doing today, you know, getting people to enjoy the river, but part of it is you've got to sit there in front of a computer and write these grants, and you've got to deliver these. But the main thing is you've got to show funders how this is helping, is helping the economy. So you've got to have numbers. We've got to have figures on tourism, how many people. 2 weeks ago, we had the Bassett area fun float. You know, myself personally counted 170 people. Now we know we had more than that, but that's still a good economic indicator of how many people we had on the river at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Sure, 170 people using the river for paddling, and you were telling me how many fly fishermen that you saw, what, 15?
Yeah, 15 or 20 fly fishermen.
So, I mean,
we've got
we're getting it from the fishing, from the paddling, from all over. Now, you also do your annual event. Annual meeting is an event, and that's where you talk about some of the successes. When is that?
That's in March every year.
The first
weekend in March.
First weekend in March of every year, they have the annual meeting. So if you go to the Dan River Basin Association website, which I will link to mine, and you can find out when that is. That way you can find out what Dan River Basin Association is doing in our communities, and from there you can kind of decide if you want to get involved. And then you also have an annual fundraiser that's an art auction.
Yeah, we do an art and a film festival auction, and we change that around sometimes each year. It's a combination of both of those things, and we do a few other things, but that's a good one that people really enjoy because they get to see some outdoor films, and they get to buy art that's actually made here by local artists in the Dan River Basin that they donate to us, so it's a great fundraiser for us.
But if you have a video camera and you'd like to make, we've seen some that are really funny, we've seen some that are very serious, and we've seen some that are just people out there having fun. So if you're interested in doing that, get your videos involved in the film festival. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's we really appreciate the partnerships with the community too. I mean, the community support here. People have been here a long time. It's a fantastic Henry County, on down to Rockingham and Stokes, Pennsylvania County, on over to South Boston. This is a good community. These are good people here. They've been hardworking people. We were the furniture factory of the world. We were the textile industries. And there's people here that want to work and they want to see this. And when
they want to see their community healthy.
Healthy, exactly.
Economically healthy, environmentally healthy, and recreationally healthy.
Yeah, and they just need, sometimes you just need somebody coming in and saying, hey, why don't we put some river accesses here and create a blueway and make a trail and get people out there? And they say, well, that's a great idea.
That's a great idea.
When you see,
Brian, go do it.
50. When you see 50 boats coming down the river, it kind of clicks that hey, this is probably a good idea. And then when those boaters are sitting on top of cars in local restaurants and going in their local shops, then it starts all coming together, and you go, this is what they were talking about when we're talking about tourism.
Absolutely. You need to get involved, because rambling is not always about going someplace else. You know that from my show I've been highlighting places to go, things to do, events to attend right in your own community. And these rivers come right through our communities. It's right here for you to take advantage of. I really encourage you to get out there. I also encourage you to make sure that you know the rules, make sure that you know how to paddle, make sure you have a life jacket if you're going to be on the water, and if you're going to be rambling in a vehicle, make sure that you're driving a safe, well-maintained vehicle. And that's a wrap. I appreciate your taking time. Brian has been extremely busy the last few days. He's always very busy. And taking care of the Upward Bound program, taking care of community float events, and we really appreciate what you do for the community. And I really appreciate you taking time to be on Rocky's Ramblings.
Well, that's a good look at what DRBA does within the Dan River Basin Association. I hope you've appreciated it. I also hope you'll take advantage of the many opportunities, either some of the recreational opportunities or some of the environmental education or other things that DRBA does. And if you'd like to get involved, go to my website, rockysramblings.com, and you'll find DRBA's information all there, and you can get involved there. So take advantage of that. I hope you'll also take the opportunity to ramble through the Dan River Basin. It's a beautiful area here, and when you do, make sure you're driving a safe, well-maintained vehicle. Here's this week's defensive driving tip. Defensive driving is really a choice, a series of choices to make better decisions, to take smarter actions before and while behind the wheel of a vehicle. The three key concepts to driving more defensively are to pay more attention, to drive more cautiously, and to drive more courteously of others on the road. Granted, there's a lot more to those keys than just saying them, but defensive driving begins with the realization of the importance of implementing them. Let me urge you to learn more. Find a defensive driving class in your area, or go online and find one. There are lots of them. Just make sure that you're driving as safely and defensively as you can. And until my next episode, here's wishing you safe rambling.